When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population,
Wait, what?
more of our children can breathe clean air.
Yeah, Kamala, clean air sounds real good and all that, but I'm pretty sure that I'm the population. I don't really want to be reduced, because I'm pretty sure that means killed. You said the quiet part out loud. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to publicly tell the people who you're trying to erase that there's a secret plan to erase them. That's just stupid. Let's just stick with oil and gas, okay? We're all really into saving the environment and all that, but not at the cost of reducing the population. Nobody here is trying to die so that the next generation can drive a battery-powered Ferrari. I mean, have you seen the next generation? I met a dude the other day with long purple hair and a 5 o'clock shadow who identifies as a paperclip. Clean air is not gonna help the next generation. They need medicine, and not the medicine y'all been using to reduce the population. I'm sorry, but saving the trees. We need less trees and more people who aren't as dumb as rocks. Have a good one.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh, dude, it depends on people.
So, I've heard quite a bit about grounding and different things on the internet, TikTok, different things. So there's a way to test it, I guess. I'm a bit of a skeptic, so I don't believe everything I hear. So if I grab this lead, I am showing no response whatsoever from this continuity meter. As soon as I take my shoes off and stand on the ground, the meter starts reading a continuity through my body to the ground. So my wife was having some trouble sleeping and different things, and apparently one way to fix some of that is to do some grounding. A quick way to do some grounding and to ensure that you do, apparently, is to buy a grounding sheet for your bed. And like I said, being a skeptic, I decided to see if there is a way to test if this grounding sheet is actually doing anything. So the grounding sheet is connected to your wall outlet. There's a third hole there, which is the ground right there. And so I've connected a wire to the ground. I'm going to connect this meter to here. And when I grab the other lead in my house, standing on the floor barefoot, I have zero continuity to the ground. As soon as I lay on this sheet, the meter starts changing numbers, which proves that I am definitely grounding with the earth while sleeping, which is about 8 hours a day. And the other thing I guess that proves it is my wife's joint pain has gone away and she's sleeping like a baby.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Great survival tip.
Dead pine branches. The section of the dead branch that is closest to the trunk of the tree, known as pine knots, will be saturated with flammable pine resin. And if you don't have a saw with you, you can break off small branches with your foot or your hand, as close to the trunk of the tree as you can get. It's very easy to light. It'll burn for a long time, so it's really good for starting fires, and it's windproof. I have a stick of fat wood here that I'm going to dunk in this stream just to demonstrate how it lights even when it's wet. To ignite it with a ferrocerium rod, you want to scrape very fine shavings off with the back of your knife or with a scraper. Then I'm going to slice off some slightly bigger shavings with my knife, and it lights right away. Great stuff. You can make long-lasting candles like the one I'm going to make with this fat wood branch that I harvested earlier. Make a split in the top about a third of the way down or so. Keep it propped open with a twig. And then do the same thing in the opposite direction, crisscrossing the first split. And this is what it's going to look like, almost like a miniature Swedish torch. And then I'm going to take my Zippo lighter, a good wind-resistant alternative to the Bic lighter, and then I'm going to light my candle. Now you have a long-lasting, wind-proof candle for some...
Oh, that's interesting, and I didn't know. How? Even coming from this side of the world, okay. So these videos are interesting. The art of the headbutt. What is a headbutt? What is that? Headbutt. Oh, I see. This guy decided to play with this goat to see who is the goat. But lots of love to this guy. Oh man, what's up with him? This is a good game he's playing with his goat. And they say they are friends. This is very interesting. Oh, yo, and of course, oh, this is so interesting. Guys, when you see people bonding like this with humans, it really makes my heart to feel good and there's bubbles of joy. And just imagining if humans bonded like this with each other and said love like this, how
What's
the
going
world
on?
could be.
It's World War III. No, it's not. It's a temper tantrum and another false flag event to trigger World War III. But it ain't gonna happen. Agenda 2030 is all a scam to drain Russia's bank accounts by removing oil altogether because oil is Russia's main income source. It's not working. Remember when I told you that controlling 195 countries is absolutely difficult? BRICS has really put a monkey wrench in the New World Order's plans. The missiles from Hamas, which is the CIA, are purposely used to start a war with Iran. It's what Israel wants. Hamas formed in late 1987 at the beginning of the first Palestinian Intifada, or uprising. Its roots are in the Palestinian branch of Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood, which has been active in the Gaza Strip since the 50s. And it is supported by a robust socio-political structure inside the Palestinian territories. Ooh, no, it's Israel and the CIA. They took power over the Gaza Strip in 2007. They need an enemy. The Gaza Strip, or simply Gaza, is a Palestinian enclave on the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea. It's a perfect place. The smaller of the two Palestinian territories. It borders Egypt and Israel. Egypt. Israel has conducted cyber warfare against Iran and has publicly advocated for international military action against them because, they're the boogeyman. But you got to understand, Israel has accused Iran of attempting to form a continuous land transport route from Iran via Iraq and Syria into Lebanon, which Israel views as a significant strategic threat to oil production. Duh. Iran accounts for 24% of all oil in the Middle East. It's competition, folks. Now, there are many claims that the CIA has repeatedly intervened in the internal affairs of Iran, from the Mossadegh coup of 1953 to the present time. The CIA is said to have collaborated with the last Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Iran used to be free and very progressive country in the 60s. But it got Americanized and modern before the CIA took it over and made them the boogeyman. Went right back to terrorists. Arr. The southern part of Iran has no control over their own affairs, okay? And has been under the bloodline's power since the 60s. The southern part of Iran. They're split up. Israel declared war on Hamas, not Iran. They need evidence now to pin it on Iran and Russia. Northern Iran has been a generous supporter of Hamas for a number of years in terms of financial assistance and military hardware. But Northern Iran doesn't attack Israel. This particular is the case with missiles. Now, here's the clincher. How long does it take a country to build a nuclear warhead? Come on. In 2003, 2 American civilians built a nuclear bomb. It didn't take them long either. Just a year or two. Yet Iran seems to be so dumb that they have been building one since 1984. This excuse is getting old, don't you guys think? Do you not see what's going on? Iran is split between Russia and America. Iran's long border with America's Cold War rival, the Soviet Union, and its position as the largest, most powerful country in the oil-rich Persian Gulf made Iran a pillar of U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. The world thinks Iran is under the control of Russia. Well, it's not. Only the northern part. It's split up. Northern Iran and Russia are strategic allies and formed an axis in the Caucasus alongside Armenia. Iran and Russia are also military allies in the conflicts in Syria and Iraq and partners in Afghanistan and post-Soviet Central Asia. The Russian Federation is also the chief supplier of arms and weaponry to northern Iran. Basically, Russia took control of northern Iran and the CIA controls the south. The whole idea is to pick a fight with northern Iran to push Russia into World War III. Russia's stronghold Iran has actually kept us out of World War III for freaking decades. Israel right now is trying to figure out a way to publicly prove through manipulation that Iran's missiles that hit Israel were provided by Russia. Do you see? Locals of Israel says Israel and the U.S. have sold the country out because Saudi Arabia decided to work with the yuan, bypassing the U.S. dollar dominance. Nonsense! Just a desperate attempt to spark war, to keep the elite in power, and to stop the Great Awakening. Like you guys and all the stuff you're listening to and what you're learning from people like me. Depopulation, wealth transfer, and the silence of dissent will keep the world occupied to not rebel against the bloodlines. Russia's grip on Iran and their ability to prove the missiles aren't Russian is the key here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hillary purposely sold uranium to Russia to pin warheads on them. They've got the technology to figure out whose missiles they are. Russia simply buried the uranium and has proof. They never took the bait or used it. They knew what Clinton was trying to do. Now, it's up to the CIA, who controls Israel and America's media. They will have to report that the missiles that killed innocent Israelis were funded by Russia. And as I wrote this not even a half an hour ago, a Milwaukee newspaper just came out with the headline, "An invisible hand, Kremlin accused of supporting Hamas attack on Israel to divert aid for Ukraine," unquote. Don't fall for it, guys. Russia is defending itself against the bloodlines. That's it. And the above excuse doesn't cut the mustard. Nothing will happen, and the CIA has to go back to the drawing board. Oh, I can't have my World War III. CIA. The fact that nuclear bomb has not gone off in an American city or tying Russia uranium here is a mystery to me. Or even an EMP attack on America for that matter. It just hasn't happened. I don't know why. As 9/11 worked very well for the Bushes, a cataclysmic event that affects hundreds of thousands of people just doesn't seem to be in the playbook. Why? Perhaps COVID was the hand that was overplayed, which could have woke up enough citizens to pause and reflect. Israel was supposed to declare war on Iran. Instead, they declared war on Hamas. A couple hundred people chucking missiles over a wall, which technically is their own terrorist organization anyway. Russia still controls the north, Iran, and creating civil war in Iran was done a long time ago, so they can't do that. I just don't see World War III happening through that avenue. The next maybe would be war with China, but China is unpredictable and is playing both Russia and the bloodlines. They don't care. One way or the other, who wins the war, they just don't care. They have a contingency plan for taking out the bloodlines anyway. Oh, yes, they do. This is why Henry Breakspear is in China personally, to dismantle China's regime. China isn't stupid, guys. They know the bloodlines are there. They know what they want. They know their religion. They don't care. They know their goals and their weaknesses, more or less. Henry Breakspear is kissing their ass right now while also buying up Chinese companies to grow and crush the Chinese regime. They know it. While it's no doubt and obvious that the plan is to shift the global wealth from the West to the East, the elite still run into problems and resistance. And that's what you saw with Israel yesterday. Resistance. Problems. Thus, the distractions of things like UFOs and anything else to keep the public away from their plans is needed until they can usher us into their new dark ages. Hope this helps.
Well, man, that's a lot of
I
information,
don't think
but
the
I'd
Roman
like to hear your
Empire
thoughts
fell.
on
I
it.
think it became a church. I think the Rome fell, but the Roman Empire became the church. Where's all the money from the Roman Empire?
The Vatican.
In the basement of the Vatican is where it is, yeah.
The sheer wealth in art is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like St. Peter's Basilica, when I walked in there, my mouth was open the entire time I was there, like, You just can't believe the amount of craftsmanship, the architecture, the art, the painting.
Well, I mean, if you think about culturally what happened, every song, every painting was about God. Until 100 years ago. And now every song's about love. I think they're talking about the same thing. So Roman Empire became a church. British Empire became a bank. So we gave our empire back. We said, oh yeah, sorry about that. You can have that back. We gave, Saudi Arabia back, all these other places that we'd sort of, we're taking the resources. And then they had their own money. What are you doing with that money? Because we've got this thing called the City of London. I tell you what, it's your money, but we're going to hold it. We'll have it over here. Is that okay? Yeah, fine, great.
Yo, it's crazy to think about that.
Pay attention to Brazil. There's a reason why they don't cover it. Brazil is the largest country in South America, integral to the global economy and a major producer of essential resources such as oil, grains, beef, and metals, home to the Amazon and its immense resources for medical research. So what's going on? 2019 to 2022, the conservative and anti-establishment president Jair Bolsonaro was one of the most popular presidents in Brazilian history. He turned around the economy, reduced government spending, was tough on crime, and murders fell to an all-time low. He respected and defended democracy and the freedom of the Brazilian people. During the pandemic, he was one of the world leaders most opposed to closures, quarantines, mask mandates, and mandatory vaccination requirements. The responsibility fell on the individual, and Brazilians could not be forced to comply. So where is he now? Not president. In 2022, the leftist former president Lula da Silva, who was imprisoned on corruption charges with the backing of the Biden administration and the CCP, won a heavily contested election against a popular Bolsonaro in a runoff. Cries of rigged election and fraud flooded the streets in what ended in riots in the capital city. So why is this important? Since Lula has taken over Brazil, the following are happening. BRICS. Brazil is now joining with Russia, India, and China to ditch the US dollar. CBDC. Brazil is moving to a central bank digital currency that the government can freeze funds or reduce balances. The Brazilian Supreme Federal Court is gathering from social media companies a list and identification data of all Bolsonaro's followers. Prisons are filling with political rivals, dissenting journalists are being blocked by court order, and the federal government is exceeding their spending cap, consolidating all the wealth and redistributing it to left-wing ideologies. Oh yeah, and the popular Bolsonaro is banned from running for president again until 2030 for his participation in an insurrection. Quick, check the media. Find the headlines. Far-right fascists should be charged with crimes against humanity for his defiance of science during COVID. Threatening democracy by criticizing the establishment is a racist for imposing law and order and a fascist for questioning the electronic voting system. You can't make this stuff up. If you want to know where the United States is heading, don't have to look far to see our future.